Well, in Nevada, the first recreational marijuana dispensaries opened in July of 2017. The budding business really boomed, and now there are nearly 700 operational licenses all across the state.
But as our 8 News Now community reporter Heather Mills explains, it hasn't been the windfall the cannabis industry was expecting, Heather.
Though easing federal restrictions on marijuana could assist businesses who tell me the federal tax is too much of a burden.
Profit's what you take home. And so even though it might generate a lot of revenue, at the end of the day, the profits aren't there.
The green rush, the near billion-dollar cannabis industry in Nevada, a bust?
A lot of businesses either going out of business or just maintaining open doors until hopefully something changes.
Rihanna Durrett, the director of the Cannabis Policy Institute, a think tank at UNLV, says the spike in sales around the pandemic was expected. So was a natural correction in the market. But taxable sales were down 12% in fiscal year 2023 after a drop the year before. That has some concern.
Every operator is looking at how do we grow the business back the way it was.
So is there less foot traffic?
From our peak, we're probably around 20% down. I know some operators are seeing even more.
Brandon Wigan is the COO of Hardin and also the president of the Nevada Cannabis Association. He believes the profit loss is twofold.
The biggest challenge is pricing.
Prices, Wigan says, that are high because of the tax rate, exacerbating an already thriving illegal market.
Reducing the tax on the product so that there's not such a huge difference between unregulated prices and regulated prices. While it may look like that's going to decrease tax revenue, if we can gather more of those sales, we can actually increase effective, our net tax revenue.
For now, he says many are struggling. But the Cannabis Compliance Board that oversees the state's industry isn't concerned.
Seems to be leveling off, and it might just be the level that the industry is going to be operating at.
Since 2020, 70 cannabis-related businesses in the state have surrendered their licenses for a variety of reasons. Some fall into receivership. Since cannabis is still illegal at the federal level, these businesses can't file bankruptcy. Instead, a court appoints another entity to take over. The Cannabis Compliance Board, or CCB, says it's an effective way of making sure business continues.
Throughout the years, we've seen great success with the receivership program.
25 have been approved by the CCB, but Wigand believes distressed business isn't good for anyone.
Even if you're not a cannabis consumer, this still touches your life every single day. Those dollars that we generate in Nevada, for example, go directly into Nevada education.
Last year, $129 million went into that fund, a drop from fiscal year 2022 and 2021. Durrett says it's a problem that's not unique to Nevada.
The states that have legalized are all kind of seeing the same issues.
Now it's up to the Cannabis Policy Institute to study the data and perhaps find an answer.
I really look forward to Nevada actually leading the charge. There is no roadmap.
So here's the deal. Right now, cannabis is a Schedule I drug. That is the same classification as heroin and ecstasy. If the Biden administration deschedules marijuana, it wouldn't make cannabis federally legal, but it would ease some of that tax burden on the industry because as a Schedule I drug, if you could believe it, these businesses cannot use federal tax deductions like other businesses. That includes rent, software, wages, even advertising. I'm Heather Mills. Kirsten, back to you.
Thank you, Heather. In August last year, the Department of Health and Human Services recommended that marijuana be reclassified and placed in the same category as things like codeine and anabolic steroids. And just this week, the U.S. Justice Department is also recommending that cannabis be reclassified as less risky. Ultimately, it is up to the DEA to decide.